This is very simple. All taxes ultimately do this. They forcibly take money away from an efficient part of our country and they transfer it to an inefficient, bloated, corrupt part of our country. The government, that's that simple. So it's not that we should have zero taxes. It's that you're calling for doubling, which is to take more money from a efficient part of the economy towards a bloated federal government that is already spending $6 trillion a year, the biggest the government has ever been.
I mean, I would push back on the idea that it is an efficient part of the economy. Look at, for example, Microsoft and Apple. Both of these companies have over $150 billion in cash on hand, not cash that is being used for R&D, cash that is just sitting in bank accounts. And I would like to point out that these two companies, the two most valuable companies in the world, were founded while the corporate tax rates were significantly higher than they are right now. So of course now, like, they're massive behemoths, it doesn't affect them. But when these companies were getting started, like, the corporate tax rates were incredibly high.
Because it didn't impact them, because they were getting started. It didn't impact them, they were getting started, like you said.
No, but even when they, after they got started. And
but hold on, let's play this out, because they weren't turning a profit for the first 30 years. Like, learn something about Microsoft's history.
No,
hold on a second. They didn't pay any taxes for 20 years. No corporation worth any salt or an accountant that knows what they're doing is not going to pay any taxes for 20 years. Why? You're going to intentionally show losses to not pay taxes. Taxes by definition are only going to be on profits. So Apple and Microsoft, being very nifty, they said, we're just going to keep on showing deficits and showing losses, therefore evading all corporate taxes for 20 years. And where do they get their money? By boosting the stock price, by going through an IPO, an initial public offering, and then eventually going on the public market and boosting their valuation by showing losses, but their valuation is actually much greater than the quote-unquote profit. Does that make sense? The profit margin. So the argument doesn't
No, but when you look at the profit margins, Microsoft was an incredibly profitable company even within 15 years.
They are now, obviously.
No. Even at the beginning, software is the biggest money printer in the history of the world.
They weren't profitable. That's the point, is that they spent more than they brought in. They had good revenue. You know the difference in revenue and profit, obviously.
No, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but these companies intentionally did not turn a profit for the first couple decades. They'd be silly to do that.
No, they were profitable. That's my point. They had a price to earnings ratio. Microsoft in the 80s and the 90s was a profitable company.
No, I understand, but the point being is that these startup companies, I'd have to go all the way back into the business literature of every single year, they intentionally, just using as an example, their stock as leverage to not actually post earnings. So if you want to tax revenue, that's a separate issue, right? Because a lot of these companies aren't
profit,
even...
Yeah. Not revenue, profit, yeah.
Okay, that's a separate issue. But again, we have a difference of opinion here. I don't want to give the government any more of our money, and you do. And so we just disagree.
Okay, thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.